18,000 people in Anshan were forced to leave their homes after heavy rain for flooded reservoir in Liaoning. Beloved Japanese Abalone a hit among Chinese, aligned with political goals. 16 senior officials killed in CCP military helicopter crash. Gas explosion in Shandong destroys entire street. This year, 176 hospital presidents have been investigated and the vice president cried bitterly. Sudden landslide in Hubei hits van and kills 7. All will be covered today in China Undercover. All will be covered today in China Undercover. "18,000 people in Anshan were forced to leave their homes after heavy rain for flooded reservoir in Liaoning. Due to the influence of the residual circulation of Typhoon Kanu, there is still heavy rainfall in the 3 northeastern provinces of China. Certain areas of cities like Dalian, Anshan, Fushun, Basun, and Shandong in Liaoning province have issued the highest level of red risk warning for geological hazards. Around 18,000 people in Anshan city have been forced to leave their homes. All schools, kindergartens, and training institutions in the city are closed for 1 day, and all A-level scenic spots are closed as well. In Liaoning province, there are 4 reservoirs that have exceeded flood limits and are discharging floodwaters. Jilin province has issued a yellow warning for geological hazard meteorological risks. As of the morning of the 13th, there are still 5 rivers in Heilongjiang province that have exceeded their warning water levels. Despite Typhoon Kanu weakening into a tropical depression, when it made landfall in the Liaoning province on the evening of the 11th, it still caused significant damage to low-lying cities, including Anshan. As of 6 a.m. on the 13th, 17,859 people in Anshan city had been forced to leave their homes. Currently, 4 reservoirs in Liaoning province have exceeded their flood limits. Dalian and Wafangdian cities, Daheshui Reservoir medium-sized exceeded its limit by 0.24 meters, Gang Reservoir small-sized exceeded by 0.38 meters, Taofang Reservoir sized in Chang'an Island Economic Zone exceeded by 0.3 meters, and Shenggu Reservoir ale-sized in Wafangdian City exceeded by 0.23 meters, and they are discharging floodwaters. In addition, after holding a special meeting on the 13th to discuss flood control and emergency measures for seriously affected provinces like Liaoning, Shaanxi, Tianjin, and Chongqing, the Chinese authorities activated flood control and emergency responses in 72 counties, districts, in 10 cities in Liaoning province. According to meteorological forecasts, from the morning to the night of August 13, there will be heavy rain in Fushun, Bengxi, Dandong, Zhuyan, and other areas, with local heavy rain in Dandong, Zhuyan, and Bengxi County. There will be moderate to heavy rain in Dalian, Yingkou, Liaoyang, Shenyang downtown, Anshan downtown, Haisheng, Tailing, downtown Tailing County, and Yisifeng with local strong convective weather such as short-term heavy rainfall of 40 to 70 millimeters in the above areas. At the time of Typhoon Kanu's arrival, China was still reeling from the impact of Typhoon Dusu-Ruai since its landing on July 28. Dusu-Ruai had brought heavy rain and flooding to northern China. According to official data on the 11th, heavy rain in the northern region had caused at least 78 deaths, but this data has been questioned by the public. Beloved Japanese Abalone, a hit among Chinese, aligned with political goals? A fisherman in the small town of Kippen, located in the northeastern part of Iwate Prefecture, Japan, complained, "I don't understand China's CCP policy." This was reported recently by the Nikkei Shimbun. The fisherman was in the process of drying kelp, a type of seaweed, but he was concerned about what might happen when the next abalone fishing season starts in November. The CCP government has strengthened inspections of food products from Japan, citing concerns about nuclear contamination due to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant's plan to discharge treated radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean. China is the largest importer of seafood from Japan. Shortly after the tsunami and earthquake damaged the Fukushima nuclear power plant in 2011, China banned imports of food and agricultural products from 5 Japanese prefectures, later expanding the ban. Following the approval of Japan's plan to release treated wastewater by the United Nations nuclear watchdog, the CCP expressed serious discontent. This month, they not only implemented new import restrictions, but also issued sharp warnings on social media, claiming that Japanese food products were radioactive and should be boycotted. Posts and tags promoting this view flooded social platforms. Beijing's opaque and unpredictable political actions might impact Japan's fishing industry. This industry has long served as a link between Japan and China and is a promise that local Japanese politicians must make to their constituents. Members of Japan's fishing industry find this perplexing. The CCPA's latest actions are affecting Japan as a whole. The next abalone fishing season will start in November, the fisherman said, and we still don't know what will happen. I also can't understand China's CP policies. They're mistaking. A veteran fisherman, age 69, who specializes in diving for abalone in the Hanazono coastal area of Shishigahama City, Miyagi Prefecture, said that abalone prices were decreasing. In the past month, the trading price for abalone after unloading at the port has dropped from around 12,000 yen per kilogram to about 9,000 yen per kilogram, 63 U-dust. He also stated, abalone prices fluctuate dramatically depending on the quality of the abalone, changes in spawning season, and demand for the product. Today's sentiments against the CCP government are rising within Japan's agroforestry and aquatic industry. These individuals remain a voting base for local politicians. Amidst this atmosphere, people are reluctant to discuss the future of Japan-China relations, and this sentiment might influence the future relationship between the two countries. 16 senior officials killed in CCP military helicopter crash. As flooding struck Shuaju, Hubei province, unverified reports have circulated on social media that a Chinese military helicopter crashed during its inspection of the disaster area. The crash supposedly resulted in the deaths of all 16 local military and government officials on board. The news appears to have been tightly sealed by authorities. Earlier this month, an unconfirmed message surfaced on Twitter. H-82 helicopter reportedly went missing during a rescue operation in Lashu with about 10 personnel on board, including a chief of staff, a mechanic, a pilot, and rescue personnel. It's said that all of them perished. The victims included a pilot, a television journalist, Deputy Director Liaoning of the Transportation Bureau, Deputy Secretary Fan Huiking of the Emergency Management Bureau, and 2 deputy directors from the Liaoning Municipal Bureau, one of whom was a retired cadre with a deputy divisional rank. Radio Free Asia reported on August 7th that according to a Chinese military source, a helicopter suspected to belong to the 82nd Group of the PLA Army crashed last Saturday while carrying some officials from Liaoning for an inspection of flood-hit areas in Zhushu. All 10+ individuals on board perished. So far, neither the Chinese military nor the official authorities have released any information regarding this incident. The reporter made multiple calls to the Liaoning government and several government departments in Hubei province but received no positive response. Gas explosion in Shandong destroys entire street. Another gas explosion has occurred in mainland China today. August 13, many trending topics on Weibo suggest that it's likely an explosion at the Half Sky Grilled Fish restaurant. Reports mention that 2 people were blown out from the store due to the explosion. One person was left with only the upper body, while the other person's head was missing. Both bodies have been covered with white sheets. Officials have confirmed 2 deaths and 2 injuries. Chinese netizens are sharing videos from the scene, and many are saying this time it's really uncontrollable. An unexpected gas explosion occurred this morning, August 13, on a street in Liaoning, Shandong province. From the circulated footage online, it's clear that the glass of the grilled fish restaurant and the adjacent bank has shattered. Passing vehicles were also affected, with injured individuals lying in the middle of the road in unknown conditions. There are reports of some people being blown apart, leaving only the upper half of their bodies. The cause of the explosion is currently unknown, but most internet users suspect it might be a natural gas explosion from the Half Sky Grilled Fish restaurant. After the news came out, many videos of the explosive moment were shared on Weibo, demonstrating the significant impact of the explosion. Not only was the entire street almost destroyed, but even cars driving on the main road were affected by the shockwaves, with some almost being blown away. According to some netizens, 2 individuals were blown out of the store during the explosion. One person was left with only the upper half of their body, while the other person's head was missing. Both bodies have been covered with white sheets and removed, but official confirmation is still pending. On August 13, Red Star News interviewed eyewitnesses near the scene, who reported hearing a loud noise and seeing lights falling off the buildings. In the morning, the police had already instructed them to evacuate. Mainland China has seen frequent gas explosion incidents in barbecue restaurants. In June of this year, a barbecue restaurant in Yinchuan, Ningxia exploded due to gas leakage, resulting in a total of 31 deaths and 7 casualties, according to officials. Unexpectedly, less than 2 months later, a grilled fish restaurant in Shandong experienced a gas explosion accident on August 13. During this year's Dragon Boat Festival, a gas explosion occurred at the Fiang Barbecue Restaurant on South Minzu Street, Xinqing District, Yinchuan City, which was a heart-wrenching scene. Chinese President Xi Jinping issued important instructions promptly underscoring the severity of the case. This year, 176 hospital presidents have been investigated, and the vice president cried bitterly. The Chinese Communist Party authorities have launched an anti-corruption campaign within the medical field, causing unease among those in the pharmaceutical industry. As of August 12, at least 176 hospital presidents and secretaries across the country have been investigated this year. According to reports from Upstream News, the self-examination within hospitals and medical institutions has intensified nationwide since the anti-corruption campaign started in the medical field. Statistics reveal that as of August 12, at least 176 hospital presidents and secretaries have been investigated this year. In fact, due to limitations in data collection, this number might actually be higher. For instance, on August 7, the Anshan City Discipline Inspection Commission in Liaoning Province announced that Zhang Huan, party secretary and director of the Healthcare Security Bureau in Haiking City, is suspected of serious disciplinary and legal violations and is currently under investigation. She had previously appeared on a local radio program called Public Opinion Hotline multiple times as the head of the Medical Insurance Bureau, where she explained policies and interacted with listeners. On August 7, another former provincial-level medical insurance official stood trial. On that morning, the Intermediate People's Court in Heishu City, Guangxi Autonomous Region, held a public trial for Wang Zhongping, former party secretary and director of the Healthcare Security Bureau in the Autonomous Region, on charges of accepting bribes. He was accused of taking more than 1.77 million yuan in bribes. On July 6 this year, Xi Mingjin, former party secretary and president of the First People's Hospital in Hubei, Sichuan Province, was expelled from the party. Yang Lai, former party committee member and vice president of the same hospital, was also expelled. It's reported that the two had worked together for over a decade. After being apprehended, they expressed deep remorse through tears. Xi Mingjun was accused of forming cliques within the party, being disloyal and dishonest to the party, presenting himself as honest on the surface while accepting money behind the scenes, acting as a two-faced person. He concealed personal matters for an extended period, sought benefits for others in cadre selection and appointment, improperly provided loans to management and service targets and charged interest, held shares in non-listed companies in violation of regulations. Yang Lai was accused of forming cliques within the party, receiving gifts that could potentially influence the impartial execution of official duties, concealing personal matters, providing assistance to others in cadre selection and appointment. He became increasingly greedy, using his public authority as a tool for personal gain, willingly becoming the target of investigation. He used his position to benefit others in medical equipment procurement, job promotions, and accepted a significant amount of property. Sudden landslide in Hubei hits van and kills 7. On August 14th, a sudden rock collapse occurred in Xingshan County, Yikang City, Hubei Province. It hit a small van, causing the deaths of all 7 people inside. According to the official report from Xingshan County, around 8:30 p.m. on the 14th, a rock collapse happened on Pingwu Road in Zhenzi Township of Xingshan County, a rural road. It struck a 7-seater small van passing through the area, resulting in severe damage to the vehicle and the deaths of all 7 people on board. Chinese netizens expressed their shock, saying, "Oh my, this is so severe, so tragic, likely related to the continuous rainfall. I just came back from Yikang yesterday, 14th. It was really frightening. Truly an unexpected disaster." Earlier on August 11th, a mountain flood and mudslide occurred in Weiziping Village, Land Street, Changjiang District, Jian. Local authorities reported that this incident caused 27 deaths and missing persons, with 21 confirmed deaths and 6 people missing. It also resulted in the destruction of 2 households, about 300 square meters, and damage to 3 locations along National Highway 210. Local resident Mr. Yan mentioned to Xiaoxiang Morning News that Weiziping was the backyard of Xian. People from the city often came here for leisure and entertainment on weekends. As a result, almost every household here operated agritayment and homestays. On August 11th, Mr. Yan's house also had 5 or 6 guest families, and they all safely evacuated during the late night of that day. He said that it began raining on the mountain around 2 p.m. on the 11th, and by around 4 p.m., the rain intensified significantly. The water in the river also seemed abnormal. In the past, during heavy rain, the water turned yellow. This time, the water surged forcefully, and it was all muddy, containing trees and rocks. The mountain that caused the sudden flood was behind these 2 houses, and it directly washed them away. That mountain is a slope. It's like half the mountain slid down. It was really scary, he said. You can't imagine how strong the impact was. At least several tons of heavy rocks came rushing down. China plans to relax household registration to promote consumption. Experts say it is painting cakes to satisfy hunger. Concerned about a significant slowdown in economic growth, Beijing authorities are attempting to stimulate consumption and boost growth by relaxing the household registration system and attracting more rural residents to move into cities. However, experts criticize this approach as mere empty promises and addressing the easiest problem, since the core issue lies in the lack of confidence in China's economic prospects by domestic and foreign capital. Some experts even question the rationale behind China's household registration system, suggesting it should be abolished directly. China's Ministry of Public Security held a press conference earlier this month, announcing efforts to implement a series of reform policies related to household registration within the month. These reforms aim to relax residents' requirements and lower the threshold for obtaining urban household registration, thereby encouraging agricultural migrant workers who are capable of stable employment and living in cities to move with their families. Deputy Director of the Security Management Bureau of China's Ministry of Public Security stated that the ministry will work to completely eliminate urban household registration restrictions for cities with a permanent population of less than 3 million, fully relax the conditions for obtaining household registration in Tier I cities with a permanent population of 3 to 5 million, and improve the points-based household registration policy for mega and super-large cities with a permanent population of over 5 million. However, a Chinese independent economist Gong Xingli views these efforts as empty promises. These so-called reforms won't really help with population mobility, because what can rural folks do in the city? Besides finding jobs, what about housing? What about their daily lives? Of course, you can have ideas, but high ideals, low reality. Average income of rural people is less than 3,000 yuan per month. Can this small amount cover housing costs in big cities? Even if you manage to find housing, can you survive with just a bed and nothing else? How can you live like that? If you were in their shoes, would you go? You live where you can survive. That's the natural law of human life. So even if they can leave, especially those with money, they've already chosen to go abroad. The wave of business closures in large cities has led to record-high unemployment rates. According to a survey by the China Business Magazine's Industry Research Center, over 1.94 million companies were deregistered in China's 40 wealthiest cities in 2022. Even urban workers are now grappling with unemployment issues due to factory closures, making it even harder to absorb more migrant workers from rural areas. And that is today's episode. If you found this video informative, please subscribe and ring a bell to get notification. Thank you for watching and see you next time. He said that